7th year for me. Really excited about it. We just had our Conference USA Media Day down in Dallas earlier this week, and just had some great feedback there. I think the league's really excited about the potential of the whole league, but also 3 or 4 of us in the league, and we're one of those teams. So as you saw in the paper the other day, I guess considered a dark horse, but we're definitely in the mix. And I have a great team returning. I'm really excited about my 3 seniors in particular, all post players for the most part, Stephen Idlett, Joe Richard, and DJ Magley, which they will set a great tone for me in my locker room. And then, of course, I think our young players, Scotty Harrelson, Jordan Clarkson in particular, going into the year. Obviously, there are others besides them. Jordan's picked as a preseason All-League player, which is pretty exciting. I think it's really hard to be 5, 6 guys named in your league. In some publications, he's first-team All-League, and in the league vote, he was second-team All-League. I think he's very, very deserving of that. He'll be one of the more talented guards in the league. And then I think Stephen Idlett will be one of the more talented big guys in the league. He's 6'11" now. We measure with shoes on, so we give him that extra height, and then of course 250, 255, so he's really worked on his body. And again, he's a 5th-year guy, so he's really kind of seen it all. But really excited. We've had some early practices because we're allowed to work 2 hours a week after September 15th as a team. And so we're really kind of set to get started tomorrow, knowing that we only have 2 weeks until our first game.
With Justin gone, what kind of role does Jordan play?
Well, he plays a role. It's a very good question. He plays a huge role. If you've heard me speak about the team, I prominently talk about Jordan quite a bit. But now, will he be able to go out and get almost 21 points a game and lead the conference in scoring? I'm not sure about that. But I would say, and I'd put this out there, I'm not afraid to put this out there, is I think he's the most talented guard that I've brought to the University of Tulsa. And that includes an NBA player in Ben Uzo. So different, yet very much committed, very, very dedicated, wants it. So you'll see his point total go up. How do you make up for the 20 points? I think you do it from a variety of ways. I think the top 3 guys will certainly improve their scoring, being Jordan Clarkson, Stephen Idlett, and Scotty Harrelson. And then, obviously, other guys will step up as well.
Have you noticed a difference heading into the season with the team, maybe a different confidence level or just anything that sets it apart from other years?
That's a great question. I've always really enjoyed my team. I feel like we really have great character. I really do, and I think you can tell with, we always play hard. We always are in games. We're hard out. It doesn't mean we win every game. But I do think that there is a little bit different feeling right now, mainly because I think the strength of those 3 seniors, and then I add a second-year player for me in Scotty Harrelson, who really stepped up many times last year in that locker room. And then, of course, I think Jordan and Tim Peter, more than capable leaders. I think a Cody Maduka will be a special player for us, and I'm sure we'll get into him here shortly, but he brings a lot to the table, and I think you'll see the biggest jump in individual players will come from Cody Maduka.
Talk about the importance of a player like Joe Richard. You can't really, I guess, let stats really dictate what kind of player he is, can you? Because he does a lot of things off the stat sheet.
That's so funny you said that, Eric. We practiced yesterday. Eric had popped his head in yesterday a little bit, but Joe didn't look particularly well in like the individual stuff. But then when we went up and down 5-on-5, he just does so many things so well and plays well. Now he's not going to shoot threes and do some of the things that we all would love to see to some degree, but he knows how to defend, he knows how to rebound, he puts the ball on the floor. Again, I think it goes back to him. He's always been this for me, the jack of all trades, master of none in one sense, but in another sense, he's just a tremendous defender and ball handler and a great leader for me. He has great presence in our locker room.
When you look at the conference this year, do you think there's a clear distinction between Memphis and everybody else, or do you think you guys are right up there with them?
Well, I'd have to say that we can play with Memphis when you consider the game here 2 years ago. It was we lose, but it was a great college basketball game. I think it was 92-89 or something like that. And Elliott Williams played great, and then the fact that we went there last year and won, so I think that's why you see that game on CBS. But I do believe that they have a lot of talent. I think that they have a great mixture of perimeter and post. I think a guy like Tariq Black is an underrated player in our league, as is for us Stephen Idlett. So no question we can play with them, but I do think that they are the favorite and they deserve to be the favorite. Give them credit to go into UTEP and beat a senior-laden UTEP team on their home floor. They deserve credit.
What is the next step for Stephen Idlett?
Well, I think probably consistency. I think some people are tough on him. I don't know if our fan base realizes how talented he is. I mean, he scores it with his left hand, he scores it with his right hand. If you recall last year's Oral Roberts game here, he scored it every way you could possibly score. And then we went to Anaheim and had that fall, and he wasn't able. He wasn't really healthy. He played against Little Rock, but then didn't play against Oklahoma State. And we didn't have anyone to match Moses last year from Oklahoma State. So I think the consistency, and that's probably from a strength standpoint. Hey, it's like anything else. A lot of people want to talk about the freshmen. I want to talk about the sophomores. Or I want to talk about the guy who's in my program in another year, because they're just naturally going to be better than they were the year before.
Doug, didn't a lot of people decide to double him as the conference season went on last year and force your better 4 or 5 guys to produce?
A little bit. I think very similar to Jerome. We have struggled with a 4-man to shoot the perimeter shot ever since Charles Ramsdell. We haven't really had that guy. But we've tried to mask that as much as we could, just doing other things. They'll double, but they have a lot of questions to ask themselves if you want to do that now with that semicircle in the paint, because it kind of opens everything up a little bit. And again, I think Stephen can float out to the perimeter and shoot the perimeter jump shot. So we'll just have to learn to play. I think you have to learn to play together between a Cody Maduka and a Stephen, even more than just Joe.
Do you change your approach at all to the team when you have a lot of returning, 3 returning starters, a lot of guys that got minutes as opposed to maybe a younger team?
I think generally speaking, you stay with the foundation. There's not wholesale changes at all. I do think you introduce some new things based on personnel, based on maybe things that I see that may be changing in the game. I think that arc does change the game a little bit. I think the old school take the charge drill kind of goes out the window to some degree. I've been afraid of it anyway, because I've had so many injuries. And last year in December, I thought I was going to have Bruce Howard play for that. So, but I think it does change things a little bit, and we change a little bit based on the personnel. I mean, we have to do things for Jordan Clarkson. We have to do things for Steven. We have to do things for Scotty Harrelson. And then, see how everyone else kind of rises.
What about Dante Metter, who's had 2 difficult knee injuries the past 2 years? How do you deal with him, bring him back, so rush him and hurt him more, or how do you give him a role this year?
Well, he's had more time. Believe it or not, I listen to my trainers, so I've never started anyone prior to them being medically approved to go. But he's had some long, dark days as an individual. He's spent a lot of time with my trainer, Jacob Newby, and he looks really, really good right now. I think what it really does for us is bring a lot of experience, a kid that probably appreciates things differently than a kid who has never been injured. And so his health is very important for stability, for depth, and then to bring along our freshman Eric McClellan, because I think you'll really be excited about Eric McClellan. But Dante's health is a big part of that, because I can maybe play 3 guards together. I can move Jordan to the 2 some, and it just gives us more flexibility. But Dante right now